It's better than the $500 you're going to
Entertainment
spend.
business.
Writing, producing, acting. Hey, all you beautiful people out there. I'm Carrie Kavanaugh.
And I'm Todd Stroik, your host of The
Casting
Casting
Couch.
Couch. Yes, okay, so we're very excited about this guest that we have on for this week. I know you're going to be excited. Yes. He is one of the big bad agents of Across the Board Talent Agency, who are bi-coastal. So for those of you in New York City who are watching, and for those of you in Los Angeles that are watching,
or any surrounding cities near New York and LA, this is someone that you want to...
Or Australia.
You could die.
Shrimp on the barbie. Let's just jump right in because I know you guys don't really feel like watching any of us anymore. No. Let's get to our agent, Mr. Todd Eskin.
Thanks for
joining us today.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited that you took time out of your busy day.
We weren't doing anything today, actually. We were just sort of sitting around the office, so it was totally fine.
You weren't submitting me?
No, you.
Okay,
Of
great. So we're going to put the disclaimer out there. I am with Across the Board Talent Agency, so he does work for me and I work for him. Mm-hmm. That's how it works.
That's how it works.
Okay, so you're the head theater agent and
Yes.
the VP
Of talent.
of
Yes.
talent.
Woo, woo.
What exactly does that mean? What
We
do you do
haven't
as
quite.
VP?
We haven't figured it out yet.
Great. Oh, can I
But
be a VP of something?
We'll make you a VP. Probably like a VP of concessions
toilets.
or something.
Great. I don't care. As long as I have VP, I can just put VP of something
VP of something.
Yeah,
on my
yeah.
resume. Because no one
Exactly.
really reads what comes after
No,
VP.
no, they
just
They
see
see
VP.
VP and
Yeah.
they're like, well, that's it. That's all I need to know.
You know, other than the president, it really
Yeah.
doesn't matter after that.
True.
So yeah, but pretty much I'm helping bring new talent into the agency. That's sort of how we kind of look at it. But at the end of the day,
Right.
we all do what we need to
Yeah,
do.
I'm so glad you said looking at bringing new talent into the agency because that kind of delves into our first question.
Perfect.
So when people submit to you, how do you guys like them to submit? Like through email, mail,
We prefer
Twitter?
hard copy submissions,
Hard
not
copy.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely not. I've got.
Have you had anyone tweet a headshot and resume? Hey,
not
hey,
not
please sign
tweet, but
me.
definitely Facebook.
Oh,
We get
well.
a lot of Facebook headshots and resumes, and I'm like,
Wow.
yeah, I'm just like, no, please don't. So we prefer the hard copies
Great.
more than anything.
Great.
Sort of the old school feel to get the headshot and sort of hold it and look through it and write notes on it.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And so when you do get the headshot and resume in the mail,
What stands out for you for a new client?
We're looking at it sort of the way the casting directors are going to look at it. We want to see something pop. Now, whether that be the headshot, the resume, that could be a credit, that could be some of their studies, their background, whatever it may be, we need something to pop so it gets our attention the same way it will ultimately get the casting director's attention at the end of the day.
great. So what are some of those things that pop so that we can tell our audience to do?
Something like a good headshot photographer that's going to really, a background that just really pops for them so that when they're looking at all those thumbnails, there's just little shots of the headshot.
Right.
It stands out from the thousands that they're looking at.
Right.
The other thing is within the resume. It's either a credit, it's someone they've studied with, a director they've worked with. A big name project obviously is always going to stand out, but some people don't have those things, so it's those other things that are going to sort of catch our attention.
Okay, and you just talked about thumbnails. All right, can you explain to our audience? This is your audience right here.
Of course.
Because we do have people from around the country and from around the world who do
Right.
watch the Casting Couch.
Right.
And I don't think everyone knows what that means.
Okay, when a casting director ultimately gets their submissions, they get thousands of thumbnails, which are just little square boxes of each actor's headshots. So they're going through thousands and thousands of different submissions for could be a no-line role. So at the end of the day, as they're looking through that, you got to get something that's really going to catch their eye, and that's the thumbnail. That's what pops.
Oh yeah, so it's really interesting how like I'll go out on an audition and I'll be signing in, and it's usually like for the commercial auditions I go to, there's a list, but our little thumbnails that have been chosen, that have been submitted, are there. So we sign in next to our headshot. What I like to do is I'll go through the list and I'll be like, who else is here? Who's been coming in? And you look through and it's like a bunch of guys that look just like you, or
a lot of times it may not be a much different people, which
Right.
means the casting director doesn't necessarily know what they want.
Right.
So they're going to ultimately bring in a lot of different looks, and it may not mean we're wasting your time.
Right.
They may just not know what they want at that point.
So you need to bring your A game
Yes.
and show them what they want.
Right, and convince them. Maybe they weren't thinking you, but at that point you convince them by your audition.
Right, right.
So as an agent, when you see a headshot that you like, you want to call someone in. What's that process like when someone comes in to have a meeting with an agent?
Right, we usually start them with reading them at first to sort of see how they're going to do it, obviously.
Like a cold read or a prepare?
Usually either a cold read or we ask them to prepare a monologue.
Okay.
So we bring them in for that and have them do that first. Then ultimately, because we are a smaller size boutique agency, we like to talk to them and sort of get to know them. We're going to work very closely one-on-one with the clients, and therefore we want to sort of see what the personality's like, as we're sort of going to sort of mesh.
Great, great. Okay, so they've come in the room, they've done their thing, you've chatted with them. What at that point stands out? And you're like, I gotta have this person on my roster.
Well, it's just sort of that click. It's sort of that sparkle. I always refer to it as, and others disagree with me, but I look at it as dating. It's that first moment together. It's the chemistry. It's how you two click. Are you going to work together? And at first, sometimes you click and it's great, and then you may move on and things sort of fade, and that's okay. That's just sort of life. You're adults, and don't hold on to it because you're comfortable. Just there's a lot of the different analogies you can do, but it's just that sparkle. It's that happens in the room together, and if it works, then it works.
So it's really like a relationship, especially with us. I had been with a number of agents before, and finally, ended up joining with you guys at Across the Board.
You got to make sure it really works. Again, we are a commission-based job, so you want to make sure you're with someone. For you as well. You're putting your career in our hands.
Right.
So you want to know that you can trust us, and we want to know that we can trust you. That we're going to work together as a team.
Right. I'm so glad that you brought up commission. I know we want to go on to another question, but this is actually a really good thing to know about. How does commission work with agents, whether you're union, non-union?
For our agency, we sign everyone to, we're SAG franchised and we're also equity franchised.
Right.
We sign everyone, whether union or not, to the same contract that's given out to our union actors.
Great.
So we just believe everyone should go on the same idea that we're working the same way.
Right.
And we only obviously get paid when the actor gets paid, and that's just, that's how it is for everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I kind of want to put out there that you want to be careful if you do get here and you're new, or you're thinking about coming out and you've got agents or managers who are like wanting 25, 30, 40%. It's probably...
It's not legit.
Not legit.
By any way.
Thank you. Thank you. I didn't want to say it. I wanted to hear it from you.
It's not. And in fact, with the labor commission and different, being franchised by the unions and different stuff, it's just, it's not right. It's ethically wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
But so it's just not legit.
Right.
Anyone who wants more than that is, there's something going on there.
So the idea is, don't be too desperate.
So is it true that agents are only looking for clients that are SAG in the union, actors that are in the union?
There are agencies that are like that, and it's understandable with the SAG projects are traditionally the network shows, and again based on agents only making money off commission when the actor books. You're talking about your higher paid jobs, and it rolls that way. But ATB is not that way. Not that we want all non-union, but at the end of the day, even having a SAG actor right now with the ultra low budgets at $100 a day, or on the flip side with commercials, a lot of the major car companies, big companies, are doing non-union commercials now for whatever reason, and they'll have $20,000-$30,000 buyouts. That's not bad, so you can work that out. It works out well.
Right. Okay, so for all of our viewers out there, like around the world and around the country, but really more around the world, who are foreigners and they want to submit to you guys.
Absolutely.
What's your process like? Will you take foreign representation?
We sort of specialize in foreigners. We do a lot of sponsorships in O1 visas.
With the O1 visa, they have restrictions. So when they do come over, there's certain jobs that they can't do.
There are certain things they can't do. There are certain studios they can't work for.
Wow.
Some studios will not allow them to come in and even audition. We had an actor last week who was up for... I can't remember the show, and it wasn't even in the breakdown. It said once the audition went out, unless they were sponsored by Universal for their O1 visa, do not come in. They will not use them. And it's that gets tough. That gets really, really difficult. When you get this great audition, and then you're like, oh no, they can't even go. Yeah.
Wow. And I think it's really good to kind of point out to our viewers around the country that a lot of times around the country, other than New York and LA, you can just be with as many agents as you want.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
But here in LA and New York, it's different.
Well,
right?
Pretty much, yes. LA, most people are exclusive to a specific agent. New York is a little different. Commercially, New York, you can freelance with a lot of different agencies when it comes to commercial.
Okay.
So yes, you can have a regional, like you said, you could have an LA agent and then a regional Texas agent and a regional Washington agent. That works, but usually in LA, you're pretty much strict to one per division.
The
theatrical, TV and film, commercial, theater. Those you have one agent.
Right.
Most usually.
Right.
What are your thoughts on agent workshops, like
good one.
casting workshops, agent showcases. Do you go to those? Do you choose talent out of that?
We try to go to as much as we can. Between, do we do the workshops? Yes, we do some workshops. Do we go to the showcases? Yes.
Do you go to theater? Like, do you go to Upright Citizens?
Absolutely.
Brigade,
At the end of the
Groundlings?
at the
Do
end
you
of
go
the
and
year.
see theater?
Yes, I try as much as I can. I try to see theater as much as possible.
So you think doing theater in this town is good?
Or doing shows, being
Yes.
involved in class?
No, because some people are like, do not do theater.
Yeah.
It's
No,
not worth the time.
I do, and being the head of the theater department and having a lot of theater clients in Los Angeles, yes.
Right.
There is a lot of very good theater in
Yes.
LA. And I've had clients be in shows that have helped lead them to other things. So yes, it's just, theater in LA is much different than theater in New York.
Right.
So I think people just look at it differently.
Okay.
And if you're in the right project, what I always do for my clients is, if you want to do a show just because it's going to fulfill you artistically, or maybe you haven't auditioned in a while or booked something in a while and you just want to get back out there, then go and do it. You need it for you. It may not be a lot of money. 5 people may see it, whatever. But at the end of the day, you are getting fulfilled, and it's going to help you do your next project.
Right. Definitely. Yeah. And I definitely feel, for me personally, and you can take it or leave it, and Todd knows this, I only do theater at certain venues in certain areas of the city, because I know, casting directors or directors or producers are actually going to show up and go see the show.
Exactly.
So if I've got friends that do shows in certain venues, and I'm like, ooh, it's kind of shady.
Yeah.
So you got to know, when you get here, be on the lookout for those places that are taking advantage of young actors who are like, oh, I got a job. I got cast in a show.
They were like, they wanted, and I didn't know, I was new to LA, and they were like, oh, people are going to come see the show, casting directors, agents are going to see it. Now here's
you
the
get
thing.
a percentage of
You're
tickets.
gonna get a percentage of tickets. Now you have to buy 70 tickets
Of course.
for $20. And you can sell them for $50, and then you're like, okay, I could do this. This is a money. People are going to see me. I'm going to be performing. It's going to be great. And then you're in these shows, and you're like, what did I do? And I just gave them $300, and nothing comes out of it.
There's a lot of theater in LA that at the end of the day, the theater is filled with friends and family.
Right.
And so you just got to make sure that you're doing the right theater for the right reasons. And maybe it's a role you've always dreamed of playing.
A really great show.
Then fine. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just a director you always wanted to work with, or a house you wanted to perform in. I get it. But you have to have your reasons for doing it.
Right.
What about receiving postcards for clients that are in shows, sending it to their agent saying, this is what I'm doing, or people that are not your client and sending you postcards with shows that they're in?
Well, for those who have current clients, don't waste your money. Okay, call me, email me. First of all, I should know you're in a show.
Right.
That's a problem if I don't. 2, let's say maybe you're not quite in the theater department, you're only represented commercially or whatever. Reach out. We're a smaller agency. You can reach out, and I'll come. Don't waste your money. Send it to someone else.
Right.
For those who want to send to an agent that they don't have, this is always my philosophy about it. Don't send me a postcard that has nothing to say. Okay. Tell me when you have something to say. Are you in a show? Did you get new headshots? Did you just sign with a new manager? Tell me something?
So don't send a postcard that says like, hey, how are you today? I'm doing great.
And it happens
with a
all
smiley
the time.
face.
It happens all the time where I'll just get a postcard and say, hey, happy spring, or something like that. To me, that's a waste, and it's going to go in the trash. If you have something to say, then of course, maybe I met you at a workshop or a showcase or something. You can then send it to me and say, hey, listen, I saw you at this. I'm now doing something else. Can I invite you to be my guest?
Oh, nice.
That's worthwhile to me. But don't do it with nothing to say. And if you are, I feel the same way for agents, for casting directors. Casting directors gets hundreds of these things. Obviously, it's got to be working, because people for years have been sending thousands of dollars worth of postcards to casting directors and agents. So something has to be clicking, or people are just throwing money away. But I think you're going to get more attention if you have a reason to talk to someone.
And do you find also maybe an actor who is submitted to you, and you're like, you know what, this isn't going to work right now, but then they send you something a few months later that says, hey, I came in,
absolutely,
it didn't work that time,
right.
But
and just because we say no, it doesn't mean, well, some people it means never. But it's no right now. Okay. We get a lookalike like Todd that's exactly like him. I'm not going to him in, but when Todd, books his series regular and goes to CAA and is a big star, we're going to need to replace him. So there could be, obviously he's not leaving us in a month, but go back in a few months and start over again.
Great. Any last little fun tidbits?
Golden nuggets?
Honestly, I would say don't think too much about it. you know what? This industry can eat you alive. You know, it make you very negative. It can put you in a really bad place. I wish
you would eat a little more. Maybe.
Well, let's see, spend a little more time on the couch. But I think it's just, you know, try to stay as positive as you can, and really just don't try to overanalyze things. If you go into an audition, as long as you did your best, that's all you can do. It may be nothing to do with you. Someone might have a haircut that's just an inch shorter, and that's why they get it. Right. So you can't look into it too much. You just got to sort of go with the flow and just keep making your own work. Yeah. Right. You know, a lot of times doing your own things, putting yourself out there, because you have no clue. You could do an amazing series on a couch somewhere, and someone see it online, and next thing you know, you're starring in their next film. ATB talent.
That's right.
So,
that's all right. Well, thank you so much for I know you guys are so busy. Like, I know you were kidding earlier, but you really guys are constantly busy submitting, trying to get your clients seen. So it really means a lot to me that that obviously you support me as one of your clients. Absolutely. You're going out to get the word out and help.
And the check helps.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
As long as it clears.
Absolutely. Yeah, good. Good for you. Thanks so much for being here. Thank you so much for tuning in to this very special episode with our wonderful agent, Todd Eskin from Across the Board Talent. You can check them out at atbtalent.com.
Yep.
atbtalent.com. And don't forget to like our Facebook page, The Casting Couch. I'm Todd Stroik.
I'm Carrie Kavanaugh.
Thanks so much for tuning in this week, and we'll see you next time on The Casting Couch.
Sparkles and flashes in California. Paper hoes and playboys pump me full of celluloid. We keep it tight almost every night.